Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I know you are tired of seeing hashtag Dorian appearing in your feed, so we are happy to say that this will likely be my radar's last and final update on Dorian. So stick with us. Hopefully that is the case. No, but really, it should be the case over the next about 36 hours. This really shouldn't be on anybody's list of concern anymore as it continues to move out to sea right now, impacting portions of eastern Canada. And we'll show you the exact location and track of the storm now. Not very impressive on infrared satellite imagery. So we'll show you where it's headed. It's very close to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and it does not have tropical characteristics anymore. As of the 5 p.m. advisory, the National Hurricane Center and the Canadian Hurricane Center have determined that this is now a post-tropical cyclone. We've had enough cold air mix in where it's not thoroughly warm core, and so it is still packing a punch to portions of eastern Canada, but we should see this thing weaken very quickly as we head into the next 24 hours. Excuse me. So here's where the track is looking. And I do mean the next 24 hours, because by Sunday afternoon, we're already starting to head out to sea. And then by Monday afternoon, we are in the open ocean, folks. And this is a low pressure system. Things are beginning to just fade out, and we lose hurricane force winds in about the next 24 hours. So great news there, right? All good things, because right now this system has maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour, or if you're on the metric system, 155 kilometers per hour. So still packing a punch. If it were a hurricane, it would be a category 2 hurricane. So still packing a punch with winds. We are getting the surge on the eastern edge of Nova Scotia there, and even still for some places south of that, like the state of Maine here in the US, and Boston still dealing with a little bit of choppy waters there. And we actually have some video from earlier today out at Old Orchard Beach in Maine, where it's a gorgeous day, but really the waves still battering the coast there. A lot of people along the eastern U.S. have taken advantage of the ocean waves out there, making for good surfing, but we still have some damage going on with the surge there in Canada. So the good news is being that this is going to move out and it's not going to be bothering anybody else as we head on through the rest of our weekend. So on radar, the interesting thing about this storm, and you can see with that becoming post-tropical because colder, drier air is mixing in, you see that here on this radar loop, which has satellite overlaid on it. That's not a mistake. The rain is staying mostly towards the western side of the storm there on account of that drier air mixing in. It just wraps right into the center of circulation there and pretty much evaporates the moisture. And so we're not dealing with the heavy rainfall over the ocean like we were when this was moving up the eastern U.S. coast, but we are getting heavy rainfall still for northern portions of Maine, right there at the U.S.-Canada border, and that will continue as we head on into the rest of the weekend. Some of those rainfall forecasts here for far eastern Maine, still another 1 to 3 inches that we could see out of Dorian here. Nova Scotia, 3 to 5 inches. In some places, you could see up to 7 inches of rain. And for New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, 2 to 4 inches. Newfoundland, far eastern Quebec is going to be on the better edge of things, 1 to 2 inches of rain when it's all said and done from Dorian. And like I said, this is going to be moving out to sea, so it's causing some problems there for you guys in Canada today, but things will be improving as we head into your Monday and Tuesday going forward here as the system continues to move out. So all good news there, but we've seen seas on the order of 15 to 20 feet of surf on near places near Halifax, and that's where the Canadian Hurricane Center expects the center of circulation to pass by around 7 o'clock local time. So we should be seeing some more weakening as it interacts with land there. So all great news when it comes to getting this storm off of our radar, pun intended. So showing you water vapor imagery, this is from the top of the atmosphere looking down 300 millibars. That bright band of orange there is showing you drier air, and so that is impacting the storm, but it's also providing some relief to the eastern seaboard of the US as it dries things out. You see beautiful pictures like the imagery we just showed you courtesy of Surfline over at Old Orchard Beach in Maine. It's a beautiful sunny day, but that's because we've had everything dry out and the surf is still an issue. Even places as far south as here in Florida, where we're still seeing risks for rip currents and just some more choppy water, as it were. But let me show you some of the watches and warnings that are still in effect for our friends to the north here in Canada. So even though it's not technically a hurricane, there are still these advisories in effect. For the areas you see there in red, that's a hurricane warning, and that is going to affect eastern Nova Scotia out to from Lower East Pubnico to Brule. I hope I'm saying those towns right. And then western Newfoundland from Indian Harbor to Hawke's Bay. That's where we're seeing some more hurricane warnings. Hurricane watch is in effect for Prince Edward Island and the Magdalen Islands. Tropical storm warning is in effect still for parts of the U.S. That's going to include Bar Harbor to Eastport, Maine. Tropical storm warning in effect still for Prince Edward Island, southwestern Nova Scotia from Avonport to north of Lower East Pubnico. And so we're still going to be seeing these effects as Dorian is in the area, but like I said, the next 24 hours, we should see a significant decrease from these Category 2 force winds down to below hurricane force, which would be 74 miles per hour. So definitely something we're looking forward to going into the rest of the weekend. So I'm going to take a minute now and try to see if we have any questions from you all out there that are watching. Thank you again for joining us. I'm sorry that we've had to put Dorian back in your feed again, but if you're in Canada and you have specific questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will do our best to answer them. I'm not seeing anything coming up here on our Twitter feed, but if you do, now would be the time, and we will be happy to help you guys out. I know a lot of places along the eastern seaboard here, like the Carolinas and parts of Virginia, still dealing with some damage there, especially the effects they saw from tornadoes moving onshore as the feeder bands of Dorian pass by. A lot of people forget that hurricanes being long-lasting, rotating storms, pretty frequent to see tornadoes move onshore, but we saw some very strong tornadoes, particularly in Emerald Isle, so that was pretty interesting to see come out of that storm, and unfortunate for them, and most unfortunate for our friends down in the Bahamas there, and of course doing our best to send some relief efforts down to them in the islands. Just a tragedy as this very strong storm moved through, so we're very happy to get rid of it. Good riddance, Dorian. Like I said, this is going to be my radar's last update on this storm as it moves out into, I believe it's the Gulf of Lawrence, and au revoir. We are done with this thing. Can't wait for it. But not seeing any questions popping up in our feed. Wanted to let you know that our fast forecasts are back. Our chief meteorologist Leslie Hudson has the latest one in our app, and of course you can find it on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following all of our socials and subscribing so you do get the latest updates. Of course, we're bringing you the weather here all the time, every day. You can get your latest forecasts and some viral videos of weather happening around North America. So please join us. We are happy to share our weather nerding with you. And if that's it, I'll sign off now, guys. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care.
Continuing hurricane coverage on My Radar.